I've been working on vehicles for as long as I can remember. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been working on my own vehicles since I first got a vehicle. And I want to just share some advice with you guys. Try to save you guys some money, show you how to look up what you need for your own vehicles, the parts you need, the cost they should be. I do a lot of car audio and electronics. I've been doing that my whole life. I've made a career out of it. I've been doing, actual audio install since I was 13 years old. Been professionally in the business for over 20 years. Been doing installations for over 30 years. I know a thing or two about it, but I've also been doing vehicle maintenance. I also do oil changes, brake jobs, suspension, all kinds of parts, interior parts, replacements, fixing things. Been doing a lot of things with cars since I was a little kid, and I want to share some of that information with you guys. One of the things I want to talk about today is oil changes. You can save a lot of money doing an oil change yourself and using way better products, way better materials, better oil, better filters, not spending top dollar. One of the first things you want to do is get the exact year, make, model, and trim of your vehicle. That trim makes a bigger difference than most people think. My brother has a Nissan Rogue, and that same year, make, and model of vehicle, they make both a Rogue Sport, and some Rogues they make a Rogue Select. So you have 3 different trims of Rogue, and that makes a big difference. Sometimes they use different oil filters, different oil. Most Nissans use the same oil, and a lot of Nissans use the same oil filters, but sometimes those things can make a big difference in parts that you need. They also make a big difference in the audio system that's in there, and whether you have premium or navigation and things like that. So knowing the trim of your vehicle is extremely important. The best way to find the parts for your vehicle is to look them up on a website such as, and I'm not sponsored, so this isn't any kind of sponsorship. These are just my favorite things and what I like to use. When you're looking up things like oil or oil filters or any car parts, you can use Rock Auto. They offer some of the best products at great prices. I just ordered an entire case of oil filters because mine and my brother's vehicles both take the same oil filters and the same oil. So I ordered a case of oil filters for $20 plus shipping. It was a sale they had going on. I don't know if that's always going to be the regular price. You'll pay that at a local parts store for just 1 filter, and I got 12 filters for that price. The oil I've been finding cheaper on Amazon. Now I use Castrol Edge. I use Edge High Mileage. My vehicle has like 250,000 miles on it. My brother's vehicle is approaching 200,000. So we use the Castrol Edge High Mileage. I recently got it on sale during the Amazon Prime days for $23 for the 5+ quart jug of oil. That is an excellent deal. That is high quality oil. I don't recommend this, but I did run my car on that oil 85,000 miles without an oil change. I did add oil to it occasionally. It's a terrible idea. I don't recommend anybody ever do that. I got super lucky with that, but that's how much I trust that oil. So I will continue using that oil in this car till the day one of us dies. That is phenomenal oil at $23. I think it's even like $30 or $35 regular price. I got a Wix oil filter. The case is Wix oil filters. They're ProTech Wix. I trust them. They're good. I've never had a problem. I've worked at mechanic shops that use them regularly. I've never seen a problem with them. Everybody's got their opinion. I can tell you this car's got 250,000 miles. My Toyota Camry that I had before this had 113,000 miles. My Pontiac Grand Am had over 200, I think it was 205,000 miles. I've always used the Wix filters on them or off-brand filters. I occasionally get like Frams and Bosch cheap, and I'll occasionally use those, but I usually just go with whatever's cheaper. I typically do my oil changes at the regular recommended intervals, somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 miles. It depends on my mood and depends on my timing, whether I have time to do my oil change or not. That always makes a big difference. Sometimes I go a little over. A lot of times I try to do it a little bit early just to make up for the time that I want over. And again, never any problems with any of my vehicles running these oil filters or this oil. I used to use Valvoline. I love Valvoline, but there's a lot of great companies out there. I've even tried some recycled oils in my Camry, and I never had any problems with those either, and they're significantly cheaper sometimes. But find something that works for you. Make sure you get the right grade of oil, and do the oil change yourself if you can. Most vehicles, not all, most vehicles are pretty simple to do oil changes on. Now nowadays, with all the technology and these manufacturers wanting to block everybody from working on their own vehicles, they do get a little bit difficult. You can go to websites like A1 Auto, and they'll walk you through step by step how to do things to your vehicle, like change headlights, change filters, do oil changes, certain maintenance. Look up YouTube videos but look up your specific vehicle. Don't just look up, in my situation, don't just look up Nissan Altima, brake change, or Nissan Altima oil change, and just watch the first video and think you know how to do it. You want to look up the exact same year, make, and model, or the same body style at a minimum with the same trim. And learn how to do oil changes yourself. They're typically pretty simple. It's an oil plug. You drain the oil, you put the plug back in. Sometimes you got to replace the little crush washers, or certain little things like that, and those things make a difference. Don't think that you can pull that oil plug off and just put it back in. Sometimes they have different washers or gaskets on them that you got to change. Same thing with the oil filters. You unscrew the oil filter. They sell tools for these things too. Like sometimes oil filters are hard to get off. The tools for these things are not expensive, and they're going to save you tons of money by doing your oil change yourself. Just buy the tools. They sell these really cool oil filter wrenches that are not expensive to help you get that oil filter off. Sometimes even when they're in hard to reach places, you take the oil filter off, you drain the oil, you put a little oil on the gasket, you put the oil filter back on, and you hand tighten it on. You don't even need a tool to put it back on. Then you just pour oil into the oil inlet, where it says it right there on the top of your engine. Most vehicles, you can look up how much oil they take. Some take between 4 and 6 quarts, some a little more, some a little less. My Altima takes 5 quarts. So you just pour the whole jug in my car, and you're good to go. Because I always have a little bit of oil left over now that I think about it. I think it takes 4.5 quarts, 4 3/4 of a quart. But you just check that dipstick and just make sure you have the proper amount of oil in it. Make sure your vehicle's on a level surface or fairly level surface, so that you're getting an accurate reading. So there's just look up the videos on how to do it. But all you need is a couple of tools. Look up what you need for your vehicle. To do an oil change, all you need is like a cheap wrench set and some rags and a bucket to drain your oil in. And that's it. That's all you really need. You get one of those buckets that you can drain the oil into, and then when you're done putting the oil into your vehicle, you can dump that right back into the containers that you bought for your fresh oil. Once you pour that into your car, those containers are empty. Dump your used oil back into those containers. A lot of local places like AutoZone and O'Reilly's and Napa will take that used oil and recycle it. If not, look up a local place near you. I don't recommend throwing it in the garbage or dumping it out in public somewhere. There's plenty of places that'll take that oil back and recycle it or dispose of it properly. Look those up. That's pretty important. Definitely do that. There's no reason that everybody can't change their own oils unless you have a high-end vehicle. If you got like a Lamborghini or a Porsche or something, I don't typically recommend doing that yourself unless you're highly skilled. There's some oil changes that are 10, 12, 14 hours and take $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 worth of tools. Sometimes you need a $10,000 scanner to clear the oil reset light. I don't really know that for sure, but I'm saying some cars are crazy. But if you drive something simple like a Toyota, your average everyday Toyota, Nissan, Chevy, Ford, anything like that, look it up. See if you can do your own maintenance. Sometimes you can just buy the oil and filter at that discounted price. You go to Rock Auto, buy a case of oil filters, go on Amazon, buy a couple of jugs of oil, keep it around. And you can take it to local shops. Sometimes will just charge you labor to change your oil. So a lot of shops will charge between like, I don't know for sure, but between 25 and 60 bucks is what we used to charge to do people's oil changes if they brought their own oil. But the oil that you're going to get by buying it yourself and buying your own filters is higher quality. So you're looking at, a $150 oil change, and you're going to spend 25, 30 bucks, 35 bucks maybe on materials between oil and the filter. And then you're going to pay between 25 and 50 bucks for labor. Still saving you a ton of money. You're getting better oil. You know what you're getting in your vehicle. A lot of shops, like the lube shops and stuff like that, they use their own branded oil, which is usually a lower quality oil. You typically want to steer away from that a little bit. I definitely recommend using high-end oils in your vehicle. Sometimes you can even add additives when you have high mileage, or if you want to protect your engine a little bit better. There's plenty of things out there like Lucas and ProLube and stuff like that that can increase the longevity of your oil. But definitely look those up first, and see if they're recommended for your vehicle. Just to help with the longevity of your vehicle, and you can keep your vehicles running for a long time. I got this 2014 Nissan Altima with, right now I'm looking at it right now, it's 224,774 miles on it, and it runs like a champ. Right now I need to do my hub assemblies, my front bearings, and while I'm in there I'm going to go ahead and do my pads and rotors. This vehicle's so far had 2 brake jobs, tons of oil changes, tons of filters. The only thing I've ever paid somebody to do was the fuel pump did go out just maybe about 10,000 miles ago. I did pay somebody to do that because I really didn't have the time. I was working a lot, didn't have the time to diagnose it and replace it myself, so I did pay a shop for that. Although that also is very easy to do on this car. It's right underneath the back seat. Super easy to do the fuel pump on this vehicle. You don't have to drop the tank and all kinds of crazy stuff. So look up those things. Even when you need something big like that, look them up. Sometimes they're not always really hard to do. And in case you guys didn't know, I do offer a consultation service. It's designed around car audio, but if you need some basic maintenance for your vehicle and you want to book an appointment with me, you can definitely do that. If you're not sure how much help you need, I do offer a 15-minute free consultation. We'll just discuss what you're looking for and what you need, and I'll let you know if I can help you or not, or if I can save you money or find the parts for you. But I do offer full consultation service. It's designed around car audio. So if you're looking for audio upgrades and electronical upgrades or accessories for your vehicle, but like I said, even things with like maintenance, if you want me to help you figure out and just walk you through how to look up, navigate, Rock Auto or different sites, figure out different things that you need for your vehicle, I can definitely do that for you as well. Check out the link in the bio or down below. You can book a consultation with me. You can check out my other social medias. I'm going to start posting a lot more videos on here, a lot more advice. Today I talked primarily about oil changes because that's what I'm getting ready to do on both mine and my brother's vehicles. We both have Nissans. They take the same oil filters. We got great deals on the stuff, and it just made me think about like how many other people don't go through that. My brother's been paying for oil changes, and he pays, I think he said, typically between like 60 and 90 bucks for an oil change for his vehicle. He drives a lot, so he goes through oil changes pretty quick. I just did the rear brakes on his vehicle, saved him a ton of money. If I remember correctly, I got ceramic pads, fully coated rotors for 90 some odd dollars, shipped to my door. I put them on, took less than an hour to get them done, and the shop for that quality of brake pads and rotors probably would have charged them $250, $300, because I think even the low end pads and rotors was like $200, so I'm assuming it's going to be way more than that for the better quality stuff. So saved him a ton of money. I've done my own brake jobs, and all of that stuff is super easy. You need some wrenches, some sockets, hammers, a couple simple tools, and you can do it all yourself. If you don't have a plethora of tools and you don't want to buy, spend a ton of money on a bunch of crazy high-end tools, just do a little shopping, buy the tools as you need them. So look up what you need to do for your vehicle. If they tell you that you need a socket set or some wrenches or an oil filter wrench, a hammer, a pry tool, buy only the tools you need for that job. Save yourself, don't buy big kits, don't buy a bunch of crazy stuff. Just buy exactly the tools you need as you need them. And each time buying the tool, buying the materials, and doing the work yourself will definitely save you money. Now, let's just say with an oil change, if you buy your oil, you buy your oil filter, you buy an oil filter wrench, you buy a small wrench set and some rags, and that costs you more than that oil change would have cost you, keep in mind that you're going to use those tools going forward and you're going to save yourself all that money next time. So it might have cost you some money for the wrenches now and the rags now, but next time you do an oil change, you don't need to spend that money. Next time you're only buying an oil filter and oil, and that's it, and you already have everything else. So you're saving yourself money every single time. It might take you 2 oil changes, but you're gonna need more than 2 oil changes the rest of the life of your vehicle, or the rest of the time you own a vehicle that you can do your own oil change on. It's gonna save you that money in the long run.